I think a lot of us were really surprised today when our Twitter feeds blew up with news that Ninja Turtles would be making a triumphant return, which is really, really, really surprising. I think a lot of people thought that game was toast. Got a lot to say about that. And this company, Dotemu, who really was off my radar entirely in today's video. But before I get into that, subscribe. That's right. Super, super easy to do. And I'd really appreciate it. Getting close to 4,000 subs, guys. That's really, really, really cool. So let's keep that momentum going, please. Also, you probably noticed, I have jumped ship. I am now a Microsoft Edge man. I love the vertical tabs, and it's going to let you see a little bit more screen space, and it's going to be easier for me to navigate, and it is a win for everybody involved. Loved your Google Chrome. Gotta go. Bye-bye. So let's go ahead and talk about Dotemu. I had to look them up because I had no idea who these guys were, but they say, according to them, they specialize in remaking old games. And here is the list of things that they have been up to. And I did not realize they had worked on all these games. I remember playing most of these games the first time around. Definitely Another World, one of my absolute favorite games. I mean, look at these graphics, boys. Whoa. This was a amazing Super Nintendo game where you were transported to this alien planet and you had this gun and you befriended this weird kind of guy and you had to fight together. It was really, really neat. So when I saw that, my eyes lit up because I was like, oh, okay. It's clearly, I've heard of the remaster of that. I remember playing Titan Quest, Streets of Rage 4, I just recently reviewed on my channel. And I got to say, wow, okay. So these guys are actually the real deal. They seem to have found a niche in remastering old games. But I think most people definitely love Ninja Turtles, the arcade games. And this is definitely more of that. And I think we could use that. I think Ninja Turtles will always hold a special place in people around my age's heart because we grew up with them. It was kind of I don't want to say it was alternative to Power Rangers, but it definitely existed in that same timeline. Coming home from school, middle school, elementary school, whatever, watching this cartoon. It was phenomenal. Everybody had a favorite. Everybody knows Donatello was the best, of course. Maybe partially the reason I became an engineer was Donatello. I don't know. But, they each had their own unique personality. And then they released these sort of amazing games. And before I jump into what Shredder's Revenge is, let's go take a little trip back in the Wayback Machine. You guys probably remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, which was what kind of really started it all back in 1989. And look at that amazing art. Look at April O'Neil. Wow, that's a bright yellow outfit. You could play with, I remember going to the local arcade by my house, which was called Starbucks, no relation to the coffee shop, and playing this extensively on the weekends with my friends, saving up all of my hard-earned money doing chores to go play this as long as I could, trying to beat this game. And then something really cool happened. They released it on the Nintendo, of course, which made tons and tons of sense. That's where I think a lot of people started to get into at least the basic variant. This was obviously a lot different. This was a very simple side-scrolling type game. Didn't have nearly as much oomph, and you can see the reviews here. Wow. Some people did not like this game, giving it really low ratings. GameStop giving it a 2.7 out of 10. Come on, guys. It was very hard. I'm looking at the review here by Frank Provo. He said that the game was a very hard difficulty and unpolished made it unfun. Well, yeah, but you know what? It was Ninja Turtles in the house, and it was the first of many experiences we would have. I think a lot of people probably remember... Why do I have the same link twice? That's kind of dumb. There we go. I think a lot of people probably remember, these games a little bit more fondly. I remember playing a lot of Ninja Turtles 3 and Manhattan Project. And then obviously eventually making the jump to the Nintendo with Turtles in Time. This is more tried and true, I think, of what people expected in Ninja Turtles games. You started to have a nice depth of field. You had more combos. It was easy to drop in and play. It had that nice uh, Super Nintendo polish to it. I think the soundtracks were a lot better because it had a much better sound processing engine. You had a lot better sound effects. And I feel like it was just a really cool experience. And I think a lot of people have fond memories of one of these games. You could see here the ratings definitely starting to get a lot better. Oh, Nintendo Power, man. Rest in peace. I think a lot of people remember that, those games fondly as well. So I think you're kind of looking at a large pedigree of games over, 5 or 6 years. Obviously, we had the live action movies, I should say, during that time. And then Ninja Turtles kind of vanished, reemerged some time ago. It seemed like with a lot of emphasis on, Nickelodeon and trying to rebrand themselves. The art style changed radically. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I think I'm a bigger fan of the old stuff, but I'm a crotchety old man, so that's okay. So here we have it, though. We are getting another game, which is amazing, and they're basically gonna, full color pixel art graphics, vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibe. Will rock you straight back into the awesome 80s. Characters, weapons, vehicles, items is directly inspired by the 1987 television show, making you feel like you hopped into the television. And this is really, really cool. And here's some, basic screenshots of what we can expect to see. This looks amazing, guys. I want to show you this one in particular. I love this pixel art. I love how they have found a way to make things distinguishable clearly, but with a fun flair. You could see the HUDs here, definitely a throwback to some of the old, very pixelated stuff. But then, even, in the foreground here, a little better picture without a footman blocking the entire screen. Look at this, man. This is characteristic 1980s video gaming at its finest. Probably, I guess, early 90s, probably a little bit more of a Super Nintendo vibe. You could see some of the shadows at work here, very pixelated shadows, but lots of nice attention to detail. You got the sheen on the windows. I'm curious to see if any of these environments are destructible or partially destructible. But keep in mind, if they are destructible, they're probably going to do the old video game trope where they slowly fizzle away. You're not going to get full explosions like you do in, say, Control, for example. But that's okay. But clearly, we're going to get some boss fights. Looks like we're going to have... There you go. Look at Kraid's head there in the background. You got the Footmen. Looks like they were in the News 6 TV station. You got Bebop. I'm sure Rocksteady's floating around there somewhere. This looks good, man. This just brings me back instantly. Channel 6 News with the little bees. Will we see Casey Jones? Will he make an appearance? It's hard to say. But this looks like it'll be a fun little game to play. I don't see... there we go. There he is. I knew he'd make an appearance eventually. And I'm sure you're going to get different colored footmen. You probably like the purple ones, which are easy. The red ones, which were like more fire-based. The yellow ones, I don't remember if they did anything special, but they took the most beating. I remember the yellow ones in particular took a little bit more damage than some of the other characters. But yeah, this is available now to wishlist on Steam. I suspect we will obviously get it for console at some point in the future. This would be a phenomenal Nintendo Switch experience. And based on some of the other games that this company has released and where they ultimately ended up, I suspect you're going to see this at some point in the future. But man, what a blast from the past. I am super, super excited. Sign me up. The little kid inside of me demands to go back to Dimension X, demands to be reunited with Casey Jones and Baxter and all the crazy characters that we once knew so well. Very, very excited for this, and I believe in these guys. I think Dotemu is going to pull it off entirely, and I can't wait to see it. So I'm going to post a link to this in the description below. There is an embedded video. I'm not going to play it here. But there is an embedded video, which gives you a little bit more of a snippet of, some of the gameplay. But I think you have a pretty good taste for what it's going to be. So do yourself a favor, click on that link below, and you can go ahead and watch that video on your own. And with that, I am wrapping up shop. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.